Hey everyone, welcome to the assembly video for our treasure/trinket box. I've got all my pieces cut out, as should you. So let's go ahead and just get started here. There's two sections to this. There's a base and then there's a lid. The base is square, so it's going to go together pretty easy. I've already pre-folded everything. You should probably do the same. And we're going to begin by just gluing some of the tabs together here to form the walls of our little treasure box. So I'm going to start here. It doesn't matter where you start, just pick one of the sides. I'm going to start here, spread that glue out to the very edge of the tab. And this one was poorly folded. I want to make sure that you fold them nice and, well, just make sure you fold them good. Fold them well, actually. Okay, so we'll press that into place, just like that. Give it a few seconds to set before you move on. And then we'll move on over to the next section here. Throw some glue right on this guy. Okay, spread that glue out to the very edge and grab this side. Just line it up as accurately as you can, like so. There we go. Just like that. And then I've got a couple more little tabs here. I've got one here. I'm going to kind of bend this out of the way so it's easier to access this tab. Throw that right on there, spread it out just like we did with the last two, and bring that down like so, and press that into place. Now if it helps, once you actually get it into place, you can actually put it down on your surface and press down from the inside, just to make sure that the full tab is making good contact with everything. Okay, so we have one tab left here. If you can't get your glue nozzle in there, and I'm actually going to do this anyway, because I feel like I'm going to get better coverage, I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper. I always cut these out of whatever scraps are left over, and I'm just going to paint the glue onto the tab, which is basically like putting it on with, just like putting it on with the nozzle and then spreading it thin with my finger, just kind of doing both in one fell swoop. We'll press that into place just like that. Perfect. And then this is the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to put glue on all three of these tabs and then close it up. So go ahead and you can go a little bit heavier on the glue here, just because we've got three tabs to work on and we don't want that first tab to dry prematurely. I'm going to take and spread that glue out to the very edges of the tab, just like that. I can feel that it's nice and wet. Perfect. And we're going to close this up and focus on getting this side aligned first. In doing so, typically, the rest of it will go into place. Now, over here, I can tell that I got to nudge this wall in a little bit. Once I nudge it in, press down to close it up, just like that. Okay, and just kind of keep running your fingers around the perimeter just to make sure it's making good contact. And you can flip it over and press down on the tabs from the inside. There we go. Okay, now you're going to have this little rectangular piece. It's got a little L cut into it, L for liner. And we can simply just throw a little bit of glue on the bottom there. It's going to help strengthen and hide the tabs. It's going to strengthen the box and hide the tabs all in one fell swoop there, which is nice. Okay, and press that down into place. All right, now this little mechanism here, this is actually what's going to create the hinge. We're going to work with that last. That's going to go there. And then we have a series of little pieces here, okay? And we have two. These two are going to go on the side of the box. These are actually going to go on the lid, as is that. And this is going to go on the front and back, okay? So I'm going to take this and just glue this down like so. I did ink this with a little bit of a dark brown. So whatever pattern paper you decide to use, figure out what the main color of it is, and then find something just a little bit darker to ink the edges. And if you're not familiar with inking, you can check out our website and go into the blog, where you will find a blog article where we've got little snippets Actually, it takes you to a YouTube video where it'll take you right to the moment where I discuss certain inking techniques. And we'll take a look at the side here. You don't want to put it on like this. You want to put it on like this so that you maintain an even border all the way around. We'll put that in place. So this is kind of I would consider this probably one of the more advanced freebies that we have mostly because of the shape of the lid. It's round, so it involves a good amount of tabs. Not hard to do, I'll walk you through it, but definitely one of the more challenging little freebies. For our Dreaming Tree veterans that have made all sorts of 3D projects, this one should not be a problem for you. I'm not worried about it at all. If you're new to Dreaming Tree, you can still do it. Just make sure you follow along. But I will tell you that when you're starting to work with round items like this, like the lid, it is going to be something different and something new that maybe you haven't encountered before. Okay, so there is that. That looks great. Okay, so let's just get some of the other things out of the way here before we get onto the round part. So this is essentially the latch that's going to go on the front. We have this piece and this red piece. We're just going to glue those right on top of each other. And this is a pretty small and delicate little piece, so I'm going to go easy with the glue here. Okay, and just pop that right on. Just want to match it up with the existing little circles there. Just like that, should fit perfectly. We'll press that down. Okay, and we're going to take this, and you can actually use, if you want, you can use some foam squares, which is what I'm going to do, just to give it a little bit of dimension. I'll throw a little foam square on the back of this, and then peel that off, and we can pop that right on the center. You'll notice that there's little spikes on these, and the way this is going to go on, it's kind of like it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided, so it's a hexagon. It's going to go on like this, in this fashion, where there's a flat edge up at the top. I mean, you could do it any way you want, but that's how it was designed if you want to follow along with how it was designed. Also, while we're doing this, these are the sides. Those are going to go on after we actually put the structure together, but while this is flat, we can take and apply these little decorative panels so that it matches the rest of the design. And this is going to go on centered as well, so that we have an even border all the way around. We'll do that for both sides. And then we just have the main structure for the top, and then just need to add the little mechanism. Okay. All right, so just make sure you get everything pre-folded properly as far as the tabs go, and the folds here and on the side. And here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to start and anchor this with this larger tab by putting a little bit of glue on there. You don't want a lot. And we're going to glue that right to the front of this tab. You want to push this in as far as it'll go and hold it just like that. That's going to get the process going here. Okay, then what we're going to do is just do a few tabs at a time, and again, go easy on the glue here. You don't need a lot. I want it to be very thin, very thinned out. I'm going to just do the first 5. And what you can do is you can tuck those tabs under. I'm going to use my table to help me, and we're going to take it and press it up against this round part here for the side. Okay, and I'm going to get my finger in here actually. I'm going to push down. I can do it from this side. Just push down. I'm using my hand to push up against the actual side of it here, and then I'm pushing down to get those tabs anchored. Okay, so keep holding that down, and you can see what that looks like on the front. Okay, so now I'm going to take and expose a few more of these tabs, and just to keep it easy right now, I'm just going to do 4, and then we'll close it up with the final 4. You can technically take this tab and glue one at a time by pressing down like this. I'm pushing in here, and I'm pressing down with my thumb and my middle finger, and you can do it this way. I just find that it's a lot easier to tuck these under and push from the outside, and then just push down from the inside with your finger. Okay, let me see if you can see that. Let me move this out of the way. There you go, much better. So that just leaves 3 more tabs, and then we have the large one. I'm going to leave the large one for last. I'll just do the 3 smaller ones like that. Okay, then we're going to take them, tuck them under. You can see I'm just kind of sliding them underneath, pushing them up as far as I can against the actual structure, and then pressing down with my pointer finger on the inside, using my table to kind of push up against it. Okay, and there you can see all these tabs are now glued into place, and then that just leaves this last one here, like that. And we'll press that down right into place. I'm going to leave this tab for last, because once we get this side in place, it'll make it a lot easier. We'll just paint a little bit of glue on there and call it a day. That's what that should look like. Okay, so let's go over to the other side. You want to tuck this in, and just like we did the first time, we're going to start with this tab here, and just fold it over, push it as far as you can up against this structure here. So I'm pushing it here, and then pressing down. Okay, and it should not take long. If you're just using little bits of glue, it should not take long. And I'm going to do 4 or 5 at a time here. We'll tuck them in. Okay, and you can see how they're going to go underneath. I'm going to push from the outside up against this structure here as far as it'll go, while I'm pressing down with my finger. Okay, so it's very simple. There we go. You can see how nicely that looks, or how nice that looks, I should say. It's very warm in here today, so my brain's kind of malfunctioning a little bit. Okay, so there's 4 more tabs. I'm going to push them down. And again, you can do it like this if you want. Just push each tab down individually. It works. You can do it. You know, either way is fine. I just did those in that manner. And that just leaves these 3, and then we'll do the big one last. Had a little bit too much glue on there. Okay, but again, you can tuck it under, and then just push that under up against the surface, or the edge of this piece here on the bottom, and then just press down with your finger, like so. Okay, let's tuck this tab in and get these last 2 glued down. This one just did not stay because I kind of rushed it a little bit, so take your time. That's the key. Okay, press that down as far as it'll go, hold it. Same with this one. There we go. And you know what, actually, yeah, I'm gonna paint it just because I know I can be more accurate that way. It's kind of tough getting a big dimensional nozzle into this. I can actually paint it on this part here. That works too, either way. Get it right up to the edge too. There's no way you can get a nozzle all the way into that little corner. I mean, if you can, good for you. I just think this is a lot easier. Okay, and then we're just gonna press that down. Just gonna go down the row here. Press it into place. And I think by now, probably didn't get enough glue on it. So I'm gonna go a little bit heavier on the glue here. You can also paint it on this surface too if it's easier. That actually is a little bit easier for me. Either way works. It's just as long as we get some glue on these little sections here. Perfect. Okay, and then we'll press that into place. You don't want to use too much glue. That was kind of squirting out there, indicating that I used a little bit much, but that's okay. Just remove it with your finger. Not a big deal. And press that down. And that will work out nicely. I've got one little edge here that's kind of coming undone, but that's okay. I'm going to focus on making sure that the rest of this is staying in place for me. And then I'll just use my little scrap and paint a little extra glue right in here. There we go. And then just close that up. Okay, so I made a boo-boo on mine. I accidentally put the other panel on the back, which I shouldn't have done. Actually, what we need to do is put this piece on, because this piece is part of the hinge. So we need to glue this down first. Okay, so I'm actually going to put glue on this part here. Don't worry about the paper here. That's going to be covered up when I put this on here. That's because I peeled it off so I wouldn't confuse anybody. I'm going to go a little bit thicker on the glue around the perimeter so I can spread that glue out to the very edge. And I typically don't like to edit my mistakes, and I rarely do. So you can see that I'm human too. And anyway, so this bottom part here, the smaller part, is what we need to glue onto the surface. Make sure you get it nice and lined up and flush on all three sides, like so. And press that down. We can actually flip this back so that we have better access to get our fingers in here at the top. Okay, flip that back and then just work my finger around the perimeter. And you can see that we covered that up nicely. Just because it's a little bit thicker with that little scrap that was left when I peeled it off, it's not going to make or break it. So now we can put this panel on the back, and we can grab the lid, and we're going to put the lid on, and that's going to do it. Now, don't forget, after all said and done here, to take some of your favorite bling and add the bling to these little corners here. That's what that's for. Okay, there we go. Let's grab our lid, and we want to glue the sides on now. Okay, and we did it that way because putting the tabs on the outside is a lot easier than putting them on the inside for assembly, which does require a little bit extra paper, but it sure does make the end result much sharper looking and more accurate. Okay, so we're going to put that on. Just continue running your fingers along the perimeter here. There we go. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Boy, I wish I had a, you can put it there. I'm gonna actually just do another little line along the edge here, just to make sure that I'm getting all that glue out to the very edge. If I had a thermometer in here, tell you how hot it is in here. It's I can't run the AC because you guys would hear it and it would be one of the most annoying videos ever, so kind of trying to work as fast as I can so I don't die of heat exhaustion. Okay, so next we're going to put some glue on this part here. It's just much easier to have the glue there. We do want to have a little bit of glue right there as well. And then I'm going to take and spread this glue out to the very edge. Okay, let's throw a little bit in the center. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll pop this in there. This is my second attempt at this because my glue dried out. I had to pause the camera and hit play again, or record, so I didn't get it all in one shot. Okay, then we're going to take it. You got to make sure when you're applying it, that you're doing it nice and tight. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a gap on the front. And again, make sure you keep it nice and centered. And then it should just meet nicely right at the very edge at the front. And it did. Okay, so let's do that. And I'm seeing that the glue that dried out is kind of leaving this blemished from my boo-boo, but that's okay because we're going to put a panel right over this and it's going to look great. Okay, so again, just kind of running my fingers along the perimeter, making sure that all looks good. Looks beautiful right here. Perfect. Okay, so now all that's left to do is we're going to take this piece, and this is going to go on with an even border. And then this little piece here, this is going to be flush with the bottom, like so. But there's still going to be a border here, here, and along the sides, and also on the back. Okay. Now this piece, this is like a thicker cardstock. So what I'm actually going to do is take a dowel and bring this up about 20 degrees, and then pull it towards me while I'm holding it at that angle, just to kind of give it a little bit of a curve. It's going to make applying it easier, and you can see how that's not flat anymore. Okay, that's going to make it a lot easier to apply this onto here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, after I apply my glue to this guy, I'm going to start and make sure that this side is matched up, the front, where this little piece is, and just make sure that it is flush. Okay, so we are going to put glue on this entire little piece here. Okay. As well as down here to the bottom. Okay, and like I said, we're going to begin by applying this centered on the front. So I'm popping it down, taking a look at the left and right hand sides, making sure that the border is even, flush at the bottom, and then we'll just begin. There we go. Take that and just pop it right on there. Make sure it's nice and tight and snug as you go down to the back. You shouldn't have any gaps on any of the sides. Okay, hold that in place, and then also in the back here, hold that down just to make sure it doesn't come apart, or come pulling away from the paper, I should say. Just give that a little extra hold. And I can tell that I maybe didn't get enough glue on there, so while I'm holding it in place, I just take my little scrap piece and tuck a little bit of extra glue right under there. And just press that down and hold it for a few extra seconds. Okay, but aside from that, everything looks really good. Okay. And there is that. Okay, so now remember this little piece here. This is actually, it's going to match up with the little spikes on there. Okay, it's going to go on just like that. So what we want to do, let me see here. Yeah, all we need to do is put just a little bit of glue right in this section here. Right about there. You don't want to go up too high because it starts to curve and it's pretty much not going to hold anything in place. Just make sure that it's nice and level and centered using that little guide there, and press and hold that down. Okay, and there you go. Now what you can also do, and if you have them, it's definitely helpful because it helps keep it closed. We have these little Velcro dots. And literally, they're pretty much just as they sound. They're little Velcro dots that have adhesive backing on both sides. And you can put it on the back of this little latch and then peel off the other half. Pop it back on there. And then when you close it, press down right where it's closed. Okay, and then if you lift it up, the Velcro stays there, and then obviously your latch is doing what it needs to do, and there is your cute little Trinket box all ready to go. Again, I just need to make sure that I add my little rhinestones to the corners here, and there it is. Very cute. So that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. While you're there, ring that bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our newest bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our fans. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom of your screen. So hope you had fun. I did, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.